Good morning, you're welcome to The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. My name is Rome Paulson. It's Friday the 28th of March 2025. Where did March run to? I'm sure you're asking. This is almost wrapping the first quarter of the year. So 2025 is running somewhere and I don't know. But yes, you're welcome to today's breakfast show. We have several hot topics for you this morning. The first one we'll be discussing is petrol landing cost rises by 88 naira in 1 week. Much later, because we love you so much, we'll be improving your oral health, so giving you all the tips, the tricks, the wits on ways to improve your oral health. Yes, we'll also be taking global stories that made it to the front pages of our national dailies, as well as some top trending stories. But first, let's see our quote of the day. And our quote says, the purpose of life is to live it, to taste, experience it to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for newer and richer experiences. And that is according to Eleanor Roosevelt. And she says this morning, the purpose of life is to live it, to taste experience to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for newer and richer experiences. Eleanor Roosevelt was an American political figure and a diplomat, also an activist, and she was the longest serving First Lady of the United States during her husband Franklin D. Roosevelt's terms for president. He had about 4 terms. But yes, she's saying to us this morning, the purpose of life is to live it, to taste, experience it to the utmost, to reach out eagerly and without fear for newer and richer experiences. Why are you on earth? You need to find that purpose, and that's what Elana is saying this morning. Finding that purpose to live life to the fullest, without fear of saying, I want to try on new things. Every day should be a new, better experience. Every day you should want to reach out for, amazing things. I mean, where you are now is great, right, for some people, but it could be better. It could be better, and what you want is to experience life, bask in each moment, spend time with your loved ones, do things that you enjoy, do things that you love to do, and make yourself happy. It's important. You're all you've got most times, right? And you always have that headspace whereby you're constantly in there. So what are you filling up that headspace with? What kind of memories are you filling it up with? And that's what Elana is saying this morning, ensuring that you taste, experience life to the fullest. Do not play small. Do not live small. Go out, spread your tentacles, find new things, new meanings, new hobbies. For some people, it could be finding a new hobby right now. Do you want to play tennis? Do you want to swim? Do you want to learn how to knit? Whatever it is that you enjoy doing. Do you want to travel? Read a new book. That is what life is all about, experiencing new things. Taste experience it to the fullest, and do not have that fear of, newer and richer experiences. You can yearn for more. You deserve it, so you can have it, and why not? And I think I love this quote because, setting us up into the weekend, it's also salary week for a lot of people. So that money, spend it on yourself. It's okay. Nobody's going to judge you. Don't worry. Next month will be there again and you'll be fine. But sometimes it's okay to spoil yourself. It's okay to experience life for yourself. So if you need to try on that cuisine, in that fancy restaurant, why not? It's the weekend. Taste, experience life this weekend. That is our charge to you from here at Plus TV. All right, move over to our top trending stories. This first one says, Tinubu appoints 4 new members to Ncdmb Council. President Bola Tinubu has approved the nomination for 4 new members to the Governing Council of the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, Ncdmb. The appointment is intended to fill existing vacancies and strengthen the board's capacity to promoting local content development. The new members include Mr. Olusegun Omosheyin from the National Insurance Commission, Engineer Wole Ogunsoya from the Petroleum Technology Association of Nigeria, Sam Onyechi representing the Nigerian Content Consultative Forum, and Barrister Owe Oyambo from the Ministry of Petroleum Resources. President Tinubu urged the new appointees to use their expertise to boost local content development in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. The Ncdmb's council is made up of representatives from several key institutions, including the Ministry of Petroleum Resources and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, the NNPCL. Well, congrats to all of the new appointees. I mean, whenever we have people being appointed into new councils or new agencies, all you just want them to do is ensure that whatever the purpose of that was is being executed, and that's the charge to them, ensuring that they execute this properly. I know that it's great, it's a good thing, but sometimes you still worry that by the time when we have new agencies or whatever the case might be, thinking of the spending the money, sometimes government has to spend money. It's okay, in as much as we're always saying cut the cost of governance, but for these people, as long as we're spending the money and we're ensuring that the money is coming back, and in this case is the local content, and most times in the petroleum sector, we've seen petrol, or we've seen crude oil do a great deal for us that has been floating us for years. And what better way can we ensure that we're getting out as much as we can? I know most times there's always like a better deal from most of these companies, right, with the Nigerian governments, but how can we always be on top? So how can we always ensure that we're doing more? And even for those people who are on this council now, I think it's important that we're not just staying on the content that we have already, we're exploring new ones, we're exploring other ones whereby we can make more revenue for the country, because that's definitely something that we want, something that could boost the economy. So bringing people in, fantastic. I hope that they do a great job and they find new ways to ensure that we're doing better when it comes to our local content development. All right, another top trending story is coming from Yobe State, which says new commissioners of police takes charge in Yobe. CP Emmanuel Ado officially assumed office as the commissioner of police for Yobe State on March 27, 2025 at the state police headquarters in Damaturu. The ceremony included a guard of honor, followed by a thorough inspection by Ado. Ado, a native of Niger State, was appointed as part of a larger deployment of 38 new commissioners of police nationwide. He stressed the importance of tackling security challenges and focusing on personnel welfare to boost morale. He also acknowledged the guidance of the Inspector General of Police, Kayode Egbetokun, especially on community policing, transparency, and accountability. The new commissioner vowed to strengthen community policing, collaborate with other security agencies, and enhance intelligence-driven policing. He emphasized leading by example and fostering professionalism and human rights respect, urging Yobe State Police personnel to work together for a safer and brighter future. Fantastic, what we love to hear. So community policing, and most times we even say state policing, has been something that has been in the news for a while, because we've always said it, that these people know the terrain, so they know the locality. And I love the fact that he's also saying that community policing, ensuring that you're working hand in hand with the people around. But another thing that was quite interesting was the human rights aspect as well, because recently in the news, Kayode Egbetokun has obviously spoken about these new police people, or these new police officers, to ensure that they respect the citizens' rights. So all of those stop and search, and coming into your personal space, maybe like having to check your phone or whatnot, he has urged them to desist from that and ensure that they're carrying out their duties diligently, with integrity in the rightful manner. So I love that this commissioner of police for Yobe State is already taking this up and saying he definitely wants to be better. And I hope that other state commissioners, would obviously move on along these lines as well. So we want better security in Nigeria because honestly, if the country is safe, there's a lot that can happen. There's a lot that can be done. More people would even want to come. We can boost tourism. There's so much we can boost education because people would even want to come for to study here. So if we tackle insecurity in Nigeria, it's going to help us a great deal. So with the Yobe State Commissioner of Police obviously highlighting this as well, I think it's something that all of them needs to come together, ensure that they're able to share intelligence and find ways that they can work hand in hand, find ways they can work in tandem, with other security agencies as well to ensure that insecurity is a thing of the past. So hopefully, that would happen and Nigeria would just be safe and better. Now, another top trending story in a way speaks about insecurity, and this says students protest rising insecurity in Ondo State. Students across Ondo State took to the streets on March 27 to protest against the increasing cases of kidnappings and criminal activities in the region. Led by the NAN's Southwest Chairman, Oluwarotimi Joshua, the students blocked major roads in Akure, causing traffic disruptions as they demanded action from the state government and security agencies. The students expressed frustration over the government's failure to address security concerns, accusing officials of merely paying lip services to the issue. Despite multiple dialogues with the government for their demands for better security measures and student-friendly policies have gone unanswered. In addition to the security issues, the students also highlighted the deteriorating conditions of tertiary institutions in the state, particularly the risk faced by students on industrial work placement. Efforts by the State Police Commissioner to disperse the protesters were met with resistance. So obviously, like I said, it's also about insecurity, and in Ondo State, they've been seeing a lot of kidnappings there as well. And I don't even think it's just Ondo State. I know that recently in the news, compared to last year, we've seen things get better a little bit, but there's a lot more that can be done. And if these students are coming out, to protest against insecurity and find ways to ensure that their time in those universities are better, then why not? These are things that we need to prioritize. Insecurity is really rearing its ugly head in Nigeria, and when we actually nip it in the bud, that's the only way we can do better. That's the only way we can be better and safer and ensure that our communities are safer. So obviously the state's, the Commissioner of Police in that state needs to do a lot more. Speak to every security agency that can work with you. Put people out there, ensure that the safety of the citizen, is at utmost priority. That's what we would expect. Right now, according to, our budget, security takes a huge chunk, so where is all of that money going to? We need to ensure that we're putting the money to good use. So it is having to hire, more people when you're looking at personnel and manpower. Why not? The people that you have, ensuring that they have better welfare packages so that they can do the job very well. It motivates them. Why not? Surveillance systems, anything that can work, all the gadgets that they need to ensure that the job can run smoothly, to ensure that the safety of the citizen is right there. Why not? So that's what we definitely need to be looking at, and hopefully in Ondo State, something will be done about it, and insecurity will be a thing of the past. These students are there to learn, to study. I think that's where their focus should be, not still thinking of how they have to save themselves, how they have to, get their own safety measures. It's okay, self-defense, you should be safe, why not? But there's a reason why we're paying, all of our security agencies. There's a reason why they were even formed in the first place, to ensure the safety of lives and properties of Nigerians. And all of these people in Ondo State, they are Nigerians. Most of them are Nigerians. So why are we not safeguarding their lives? Why are we not safeguarding their properties? They're, being kidnapped, they're being brutalized. Why is that? We need to ramp up security in that state, and not just Ondo State. If you go to the northern Nigeria, there's also a lot of insecurity happening there as well, and we need to look at the hotspots and move out all the marshals, move out all the manpower that we can get to ensure that at least things there are calm, and then everything gets back to normal. But insecurity needs to be a thing of the past, and we need to start today. All right, our final top trending story says bill to limit presidential and governor candidates' age passes. The Nigerian House of Representatives have passed a bill for second reading that proposes a 60-year age limit for presidential and gubernatorial candidates. If enacted, this law will prevent candidates like President Bola Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, and Peter Obi, who are over 60, from running in the 2027 election. The bill aims to amend the constitution and sets a new requirement for candidates, including a university degree and an age cap. The bill is sponsored by Imo State lawmaker Ikenga Ugochinyere and was one of the 31 bills that passed second reading during a recent plenary session. In addition to the age limits, the bill seeks to revise other qualifications for candidates running for president or governor, emphasizing education and age restrictions. Another related bill promoting the inclusion of youth and persons with disability in political appointments also passed. The House also addressed several other key legislative matters, such as the establishment of new universities, promoting gender inclusivity in governance, and improving judicial reforms. Among the bills passed were those supporting the creation of new states and the development of specialized educational institutions, reflecting a broad range of legislative priorities. There's a lot, right, in the bills. There's been about 31 of them. But let's start with the last one, which is creation of new states. Now, if we look at creation of new states, we have about 36 states and the FCT in Nigeria currently. So you're wondering, why do we need new states? But if we're looking at judicial reforms, if we're looking at legislative reforms, if we're looking at, inclusivity for people, especially when it comes to like gender inclusivity or people with disabilities, having to put them in politics as well, fantastic, that is great. Now, to the crux of the matter, which is the age limit of 60 years. I'm wondering if that bill is going to be passed, with the president still in office, because he's just done one term, or in fact, he's not yet done with one term. He's literally maybe a few days away from 2 years, and he still has about 2 more years in office. So if this bill is going to be passed, what does that mean? That means he might not get his second term. Do you think the president is going to, pass that bill? Because obviously it goes through the second reading, it goes through, the Senate and everything, but at the end of the day, it's the president that's going to put his own stamp of approval. Now, the president is obviously over 60 years old, so sometimes you wonder, are they playing with us? Like, how is this going to work? Is it just something you're putting on paper because it looks nice, or is it something that you definitely want to execute? Now, looking at other candidates, Atiku Abubakar, obviously, he was the presidential candidate for the People's Democratic Party in the last election. You also have Peter Obi, who was the presidential candidate for the Labour Party. These are men that are over 60 years old. So I don't know if this bill is going to pass. I don't know if we're going to get the stamp of approval, because a lot of people who are in the Senate, they obviously have their fellow constituents or their fellow people that they work with, and you might wonder, like, why would they want to sign that bill, especially if their friends and their colleagues are maybe above 60 years? Would that have been a great idea? Yes, but sometimes when you think about the inordinate ambitions of people, especially Nigerian politicians, I'm not sure if that's going to work. Now, will it work? I don't know. But for me, I'm a little bit skeptical about it. But in a way, we'll see what happens. I mean, this is a development story, so we'll see what happens in the coming days or weeks or months to come, or years maybe. That's if it's even being passed. Maybe they might stall this, to be honest. Maybe it might be stalled till the president's second term, and then it would make sense that, oh yeah, since I'm almost done, I might as well sign this bill. As of right now, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. For gubernatorial candidates as well, there's also that cap. But if you think about it, most of them are 60 or more, or even if they're not 60 yet, they're approaching 60. I think it's great that we have the not too young to rule. There was that campaign, not too young to rule, where anybody, especially if you've gotten to a certain age, I think it was 35 or something, you can, apply for office, which is fantastic. It would have been great to have the cap at 60. I mean, that's supposed to be the retirement age, I think, for judicial, for judges and all of that. I think it's about 65 or so. So maybe 65. You can cap it, because at that point, while you're still trying to work tirelessly, and being the president or being a governor of a state is not a day's job. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of mental work. You have to put your thinking cap on 24/7, even when you're sleeping. So yeah, while you're still working at that age, would it be fantastic? Maybe if we were in other countries, that could have worked. But in the United States, too, I don't think they have their age limit at 65. I'm not sure it's capped at 65. So for Nigeria, it's a great thing to see on paper. Would it be fantastic? Why not? Look at the president of France. I mean, he's quite young, so why can't we have young rulers? We can do it, but the people who are there, the people who are at the top, would be the ones that would thwart this same bill that is being passed. So I'm wondering, why are you passing it in the first place? But like I said, it's a developing story. We'll continue to watch out for it and see what happens in the coming days, coming months, coming years, maybe. Alright, that's it for our top trending stories. We'll go on a short break, look at the weather reports, and when we return, we'll be reviewing the papers. Please stay with us.